Well, good morning and welcome to a lovely sunny Friday morning. A little bit chilly. Well, it's sunny in Reading. I don't know where you are. You could be anywhere in the world, of course. That's the beauty of live web chats. So my name is David Katanak from Microsoft. I have the pleasure of running through the majority of the content. But first, I'm going to hand over to James Darler, who's the Business Development Manager for the Microsoft Technologies at Ingram, and he's going to introduce the session. So I'm just going to unmute James. James, you have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. James from Ingram Micro here, and just wanted to say thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you, Dave, for passing across to me. I promise to keep this quite brief because it's obviously the Ingram Micro overview, so I'll only be 5 minutes. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background. Some of you may already know about us and what we're doing in the market, but for those of you that don't, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background on what we're doing. So, Dave, if we could just go on to the first slide. What we've done at Ingram Micro is we've actually separated the business out into 4 areas. We've got Ingram Micro Supply Chain, which is all your logistics. We've got Ingram Micro Mobility, which is obviously mobiles and devices. And we've also got Ingram Micro Technical Solutions, which is the existing distribution model. So your laptops, your desktops, your servers, your storage, and then we've actually got Ingram Micro Cloud, which is us. The reason for doing that is the cloud business is very different to distribution and the technical solution side of the business, and we sort of recognised that, and we wanted to sort of lead the market, and we wanted expert specialists on cloud. We've done that. That's been going now for almost a year now, and it's worked really, really well. So what we set up a team. We've got 10 internal heads who are dedicated to actually servicing you on a day-to-day basis with quotes and obviously any questions that you do have. On the road, we have 5 business development managers focusing on different areas within the cloud business. My focus is specifically Microsoft, but obviously I have a good knowledge of the cloud market and what else is out there. In addition to that, we do have technical resource as well. So that's in the form of Ross. Ross heads that up. He is UK and Northern Europe lead. So he can help you. He can come on site. He can actually help you with individual opportunities with end users. He can come in and train your technical staff. He'll help you with the migrations if you're looking to move from on-premise solutions to the cloud. That's what Ross is there for. In addition to that, we have our own marketing team, so they'll keep you up to date with market trends, what's going on, and any events and stuff like that we've got going on. So if we can just go on to the next slide, we'll stay on the theme of marketing. We set up a program called Cloud Elevate. So what this is actually a great thing for you guys. It's in place to basically reward you for your loyalty to Ingram Micro. You'll have different benefits in terms of promotion, discounts, education, marketing support, in pretty much what I've just run through. So if you do want to sign up to that, please get in contact with me following this web chat, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. So Dave, just go on to the next one. The bridge, again, this is part of marketing, and this is a newsletter, monthly newsletter. It gives you all the cloud news and updates via email. It'll let you know exactly what's going on in the market, what's changing. It'll give you our personal views as well. So we quite often do blogs and video chats and stuff like that, and obviously web chats like we're doing today. It isn't necessarily just purely around Microsoft. There will be other vendors, there will be other cloud solutions in there as well. So it is really good to sort of keep up to date on what's happening in the market. Next slide, and pretty much my last one, the events. We've got a number of events coming up. We've got the Mobility Winter Reseller Forum, which is in Luton, and that is in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, there's a massive link between the mobility piece and cloud computing. So we are there. If you want any information on any of those events, please contact us. We've got Cloud Summit Europe. This is the first one, and we're pretty excited about it, actually. It's going to be over in Barcelona. And again, if you want further information on that, please contact me. It is going to be a great event, and we'd love to see you there. Cloud boot camps. I know some of you have actually been to these boot camps. We are working on a date at the moment, and these are usually 1 or 2 day events where we have guest speakers, and we run through how cloud businesses have been set up in the past and how they're very successful. And we often use real case examples. For example, one of our resellers, he actually comes in and gives an overview of what he did to set his business up and how he's got it to where it is today. And in addition, we do these web chats regularly. We have different subject matters delivered by different guys. I mean, I've got one in a couple of weeks that I'll be delivering around Office 365 and SkyKick migration. We also have Azure focus. Dave comes in and does a number of different web chats for us as well, and we do other cloud solutions as well. And sorry, just one last quick slide. This slide is dated, but I wanted to just put it in for you. We did last quarter, we had an incentive, Val d'Isere, they're all going off on this trip this weekend, I believe, actually. And the one before that was Singapore. And there are rumours that the next one is going to be over in the US. So we'll be releasing details on that soon as well. So if you do want information on that, please sign up to our Cloud Elevate program. You'll have access to all of these resources, and obviously on top of all the day-to-day sort of interaction you have with us already. So on that note, I kept that quite brief. So on that note, I'll pass across to Dave. And again, thank you for your time today. And any questions, just let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Look forward to seeing what the next incentive is. If it's Luton, we're all going to be disappointed.
There's rumours it's Orlando, so fingers crossed that materialises, but it's still yet to be confirmed.
Fabulous. Thank you, James. So we're going to be talking about new ways of moving your customers to the cloud. Not so much moving your customers, but getting more out of the cloud. Now, some of you have said that you can't see the slides. So R can't see the slides due to server connectivity issues. So apologies for that, R, but I don't think I'll be able to do anything about that. However, in the attachment section of your link client, you can download the PDF of these slides and then follow along. And also this webinar is being recorded, so you can always get the recording with the demo. So I'm going to be doing a little demo of Power BI towards the end, so you should be able to do that. And I'm saying a great demo of 365. Don't quite know what demo you're referring to are, but that's positive. So we'll just carry on with that one. Now, we don't want your business to get rubbed out, to be erased. And that's a lot of partners are thinking that about the cloud. Don't get left behind, essentially. So what we're going to do in this webinar is look at other areas, potential revenue that you can tap into. We want to give you some golden nuggets. We want to give you some ideas that you can think 2015 is going to be my best calendar year for my business. And these are the sources of revenue that we might be able to tap into. Just setting the scene, I've used this slide before, but we just want to say that this is a new era of computing. It sounds grandiose, but we are in a new era. Think back. We had the era of personal computing. Did that change businesses? Of course it did. Sales staff unleashed with laptops, albeit very heavy laptops in those days. And then the internet, mid-90s, almost killed Microsoft. Microsoft got left behind a little bit. We were late to the game. Did the internet change business? Absolutely. But again, think back. And if you were around, I don't know, you might be young'uns. There were a lot of organizations, small and large organizations, that fought bitterly against the internet. They did not want emails. They did not want wwws and .coms and .co.uk's. It was inevitable. Geo expansion, direct connections with customers, partners, suppliers, automation. But a lot of companies fought against it. I think the same about the cloud. It's not a case of if, but when, because it's an overwhelming wave. The devices are out there. The connectivity is out there, and they're just improving. I know some places like R probably might not have very good connectivity at the moment, or thinking this isn't fantastic server connection. But it's improving, it's getting better. This is how people want to work. Oops. So the internet era really is a case of when, and you've got to embrace that. You've got to help your customers, you've got to persuade your customers, and you've got to be ready for it. Now, traditional IT projects, we talk to the IT manager about plumbing their IT infrastructure. In cloud, you have to shift that, and you're talking to business owners now about changing their business model. Someone else runs the infrastructure. That provides great freedom. You can now say, well, this can transform your business. This means you can get staff, the best staff. They could be in Australia, but you can get the best staff. Opportunity-wise, we do predict that the opportunity for partners over our FY15, so Microsoft's FY15 ends in end of June, and this is going to be considerable across, as you can see, cloud, mobility, social, big data. Now, we have compelling customer value propositions that you as partners can utilize across all of these areas. And we're going to center on cloud in these webinars. However, as you can imagine, all of these areas are strongly interlinked. In fact, the Power BI demo, that's shifting towards big data. And just another couple of stats. Don't think you've left it too late with cloud. If you imagine a technology adoption curve, or if you can't imagine one, bing one after the webinar, we're still pretty much in the early adoption phase with cloud. There's a lot of fighting against it. There's a lot of movement going there. So now is the time to seize the opportunities. It's not too late. Some of you may already be successfully selling Office 365 into your customer base. Brilliant. It's been the fastest growing product in Microsoft's history. The next opportunity is to broaden that with associated cloud technologies such as Intune, and also migrating and deploying solutions into Microsoft Azure. And as you can see, 57% of Fortune 500 companies already using Azure in their business. There are numerous opportunities to build solutions for the UK SMB market, the small market. So really, if you can take one piece of advice out of this slide, is each of you to ensure that you're not only utilizing the core software, like Windows and stuff that you receive as part of maybe your internal use rights through the action pack or competencies, but also familiarize yourself with Azure through monthly credits that you receive. So you might receive monthly credits again through action pack or through competencies. Now, further still, as well as broadening into other products, look to licensing vehicles other than open, such as SPLA. SPLA, Service Provider License Agreement. That is a different way of licensing. You're effectively renting the product still, but it's a different way of delivering, a different way of reporting. And you can use SPLA to overcome common cloud objections, such as customers complaining that they have to rent Office 365 for a year. With SPLA, you can rent Exchange, SharePoint, etc. monthly. So apologies, I haven't said which slide. This is slide 6. We're on slide 6, and it's a blue chap in front of a whiteboard. So SPLA gets over things like annual subscriptions, data sovereignty, because with SPLA you can rent SharePoint, Windows, Link, Exchange, and you can host it on the customer's own server. So you can still sell them a server, but instead of selling them the persistent perpetual licenses, you're renting it on their own servers. So in terms of their infrastructure, you're keeping them nice and comfy, but they're just changing to a subscription model, because with SPLA it can be devastatingly cheaper. And customization as well. There are certain things you can't customize with perhaps SharePoint Online. With SPLA, you've got the full SharePoint server capabilities there. Also, custom solutions and white labeling. Now, common remark from partners, especially around Azure, is that they don't know how much to charge, because Azure is an enormous box of Lego. You cannot, with cloud, spend a lot of time talking to the customers and creating bespoke solutions every time. You can't sit down with the customer and say, right, Azure is a box of Lego, what would you like? Would you like a racing car with 7 wheels or something like that? You can't do that. You don't have time to do that. Now, we understand it's hard to price because it's so flexible. When a solution utilizes Azure compute, bandwidth, identity, storage, backup, networking, database, traffic management, availability, maybe some other infrastructure and platform services, it's very hard to determine the charge rate, the burn rate, how much all of those services are going to cost your customer. So the advice is have your own supported, tried and tested offerings that you package. You're then comfortable delivering those, pricing those, supporting those, and because they're consistent and repeatable, you can sell them really fast. For example, don't just say to a customer, hey, how about having some cloud infrastructure? Let's sit down and work it out. Perhaps have packaged services, the Acme Bronze, Silver and Gold cloud compute offerings. Bronze might include just some compute and storage, so it's great for lift and shift. If they're taking an existing on-premises application, popping it in the cloud. Brilliant. So that bronze package might include some migration services, some fixed compute power, so it doesn't scale, it doesn't need to perhaps, some bandwidth and some storage. The silver package might build on that by offering some geo-replication, some elasticity, so the compute will automatically scale up and scale down as it needs to under load. And then gold might include a higher level of support than Azure usually does, perhaps utilizing your partner support hours, a better service level agreement, better resilience, and whatever you need, a special masseuse service to come around and provide shoulder rubs to your customers when they get stressed. But that way you don't have the whole box of Lego and you go with the whole box of Lego to customers and work with them. You just have set packages that you know how much to charge, how much they're going to cost, and you offer them there. That also creates stickiness because those packages can be unique to you. Someone will always be able to undercut you if you're just selling commodity compute services. If the customer likes your products and they're the only one, or you're the only one that sells it, it will take a lot to persuade customers to move to another supplier. Okay, next slide. And again, I'll skim through this one really, but this is the last year, the FY14. Microsoft took market share in every big bet area. So this just shows the market growth in those key technology areas. In grey is the market growth, and then Microsoft's growth is in blue. And then we've got an FY15 one of these, and it just, as you can imagine, the blue arrows grow a little bit more as well. Now, 97% of this revenue is coming through Microsoft partners. Let's cover mobility, mobile device management with Microsoft Intune. Now, Intune's got better as well. Intune is getting better. There's a big, very exciting roadmap for Intune. Probably its Achilles heel at the moment is that it doesn't manage servers, whereas there are other things in the market for small businesses that do manage servers. Our server management offering is System Center. But Intune, SMBs, as we know, are going mobile in a big way. Here we've got some survey results from Forrester, and we can see 43% of people work at more than one location. And again, as you can see in the chart, most of these people use productivity apps across multiple devices, smartphones, tablets, etc., etc. And again, 77% of SMBs plan to use cloud-based collaboration software within 2 years. So with Microsoft, you can open up these business opportunities in mobility and remote access. For example, delivering complete mobile productivity solutions that span the cloud, the server, the devices. Sell Office 365 combined with Windows devices, because once the customer's got that seamless access, that anywhere, that built-in data protection, and also extend that opportunity to the server, so offering remote access. With Windows Server 2012 R2, VDI becomes much easier for small businesses to take advantage of. Okay, next slide, slide 10. So what are the challenges? We're just going to spend a few slides on Intune. What are the challenges? We kind of know them. Users expect to use any device. They expect to use any device anywhere to do their work if they need to. They also want to use their own devices. But of course, IT has to think about security, licenses, and so on and so forth. This was well established on corporate devices, and storage of data on mobile devices opens up another set of challenges. If you're actually going to do VDI, fair enough. The apps, the data is never perhaps stored on the device. But if you're allowing people to download emails, download documents onto their devices, and it's their own devices, whole kettle of fish. Providing remote access to data, i.e. not having to be in a corporate building, and storing data on those mobile devices, as I say, has these protection challenges. And there are lots of other things. Oh, if we just go back a little bit. So the way resources, applications are accessed and consumed, that's changing. We've got a shift to, as I say, these personal devices and mobility. There's a need to adapt how these applications work. How we're approaching this at Microsoft is really calling it People-Centric IT. That's our marketing, People-Centric IT. What it basically means is that the person is productive, not the device. The device is a tool. The person should be viewed as a carpenter or a plumber or something like that, or an artist. Okay, they might have their favorite device, they might have their favorite tools, but it's the person. You take a carpenter and you plonk him on a desert island, or her on a desert island, and you think, there we go, there's some new tools. We've had a shipment in from Screwfix, build me a little house, and they should be able to give it a pretty good go. And I find that, I'm traveling around a lot. I do have my favorite devices. However, if I'm finding myself without that, I could quite easily borrow a PC, buy a PC if I'm in a fix, and carry on working. Everything is there. It's the person productive, not the device. And IT should therefore revolve around the worker, with their devices just being tools. So you can do that. Enable your end users by allowing users to work on the device of their choice. Provide consistent access to the corporate resources from those devices. This could be virtual desktop infrastructure again. Unifying the environment. Deliver comprehensive application device management. So there's lots of, this is what we're talking about with Intune. And also protecting the data. So protecting the data by having things like remote password reset, device wipe, selective wipe. So if the person leaves, you can selectively wipe what's on their personal devices. Now, I mentioned System Center. There are really two solutions for managing mobile devices. The first is the unified scenario. So this is System Center 2012 with Windows Intune or Microsoft Intune. Configuration Manager, it's marvelous. So this is System Center, but it's not really an SMB sale. It's quite expensive, it's quite pricey because it's an enormous suite of tools. Now, to extend that beyond on-premises PCs and Server Manager, then to devices that live in the cloud, for example, including Android, iOS, RT devices, Windows phones, that's where Intune comes in. So together, they're a fantastic unified scenario that has a single management console, provides rich policy management, rich reporting, great scalability. So just in terms of scalability, that's what it does. Now, for SMB, the second option is just to use Windows Intune as standalone. It's a hosted management system. It uses a web-based administration console. It's ideal when the deployment of a management infrastructure on premises would be overly complicated, or you choose not to go with System Center or a third-party device. So there is a full comparison of features between System Center, Configuration Manager, and Intune on TechNet, so you can just search for that. Right, we're on, there's even the link. That is the full comparison. Okay, we're on slide 13 if you're following along with the PDF. Intune as a standalone service, that's what we're going to focus on in the next few slides. The IT staff, or you, the partner, uses a single web-based admin console, and you can manage both Windows PCs and the most popular mobile device platforms. So, iPhone, Android, even a little bit of Symbian in there. The console is, as I mentioned, a cloud service. It's hosted by Microsoft, and as you can see, it will manage both the rich clients, the PCs, and the mobile devices. As I said, there is a gap in Intune management. It won't manage servers. This is pretty much what Intune will do. It's a rich console. It addresses the needs and many aspects of PC management and mobile device environment. So it helps protect PCs from malware. The way you license Intune, and again, you can buy Intune through the open volume license agreement. The way you license Intune, you've got a choice. Intune will typically be licensed per user per month, so it is subscription. That user is then allowed to manage up to 5 devices, or you can manage and enroll 5 devices for that user. On one device, typically their primary device, you're allowed to install System Center Endpoint Protection, which is the anti-malware that we use ourselves at Microsoft. So it's enterprise level anti-malware. So that's on one device, typically their PC or their laptop. There is also a SKU for Intune which includes Windows. So you're effectively renting Windows 8.1, and this can be the cheapest way of getting everyone up to the modern Windows 8.1. It also has software assurance benefits in there, so you're actually getting Windows 8.1 Enterprise and all of the software assurance benefits for that. You can also manage updates. So with every license of Intune, you get, I think it's about 20 gigabytes of space, it might have increased, in the cloud. You can put your own software up there, you can put your own updates on there. It doesn't have to be just Microsoft things. And then you can distribute updates, distribute software through that. You can use whatever format you want, exes, batch files, etc., etc. So you've got your own little cloud space. And managing updates, again, the Microsoft software, for example, you might have third-party updates that are pushed down. You can assign those to users, you can see what updates are required, and you can tick the box. So you can approve updates for certain users, for certain groups of devices, and then once you've approved them, the PCs and the endpoints will be updated. The proactive monitoring, the proactive alerts, as you can imagine, you'll get alerts. So in this screen, if I just do a scribble, we can just about see things. So we've got some alerts here. We've got alerts that there are some critical updates that need to be approved, so that's the manage updates bit. We've got something follow-up actions, I can't remember there, and you've got things like some alerts about endpoint protection. So a few of people might have been on holiday, for example, and which slide are? We're on slide 14. It's titled Manage and Secure Devices Anywhere. So we've got some alerts on endpoint protection. Some people might have been on holiday, they've come back, they've plugged in, their anti-malware needs to be updated. So you've got some proactive monitoring alerts there. Remote assistance. Now, of course, if you're selling Office 365 with Link, you'll be able to provide remote assistance through Link if the customer's utilizing it. If they haven't, you can do remote assistance through Intune. So you can communicate with the end users, you can take over their PCs, you can do some remediation remotely. Of course, they're going to miss your smiley face, but it means that you can, again, widen your geographic approach to customers. You can spread out, your support staff can achieve more because they're not always going round and traveling on premises. Possibly some of the best little features, inventory, hardware and software. You can go in and check. So in the Intune portal, this is the old version of the portal. Actually, it's changed to look a little bit more funky. So you can go into software and you can have a look and search for managed software. Now, because Intune can also be used to manage users' own devices, there is a limit. We don't inventory their own personal software. We think that's a bit big brotherish. So typically this is going to be managed software. But you might think, right, we're going to roll out Office 2013, for example. I want to have a look at the estate that we're managing and find out what computers have Office 2010. Those are the ones we're going to upgrade, and then you can look at the computers that have 2010. You can see how much storage they've got, how much RAM they've got, what video card they've got. So you can search for managed software, you can track licenses, you can get an inventory of the hardware on particular machines for particular users. And of course, you can create reports and set security policies. And down in the administration, you can also set these company portals. So there might be a user that comes to the office and they think, right, for some reason someone's bought me a Tesco huddle for some unknown reason, and I think I might want to use it at work. They would connect to the office network, and similar, we've all done it, we've all been to a hotel, we've all gone into their Wi-Fi. The first page you get is the little hotel Wi-Fi thing where we have to sign up and possibly pay exorbitant prices for slow Wi-Fi. Similar thing here, you can create company portals. So this Contoso screenshot is an example of company portal. That's what they'll see. They can enroll the device. Enrolling the device will then install the Microsoft Intune agent and possibly put some protection on there. So you might think they're bringing a smartphone. You can choose whether that user can access your corporate data and your corporate applications according to certain inventory. For example, has that smartphone been unlocked? You know, if it's unlocked, if they've taken it to some sort of market stall and they've unlocked it, that could represent risk. So you can set all of those policies, and then in this portal, you can say, okay, you can run Sage. You can get to this desktop application. You can get to your whole desktop if you want to. And also on the right-hand side of here, where it says My Devices, that lists all of the devices that that person has used to connect to the corporate infrastructure. So you can have this sort of user device affinity. Now there's a portal for mobile devices, there's a portal for rich devices. You can customize them to a certain degree, but they're just sort of pretty much native out of the box. When someone wants to enroll their own device, that's what they'll see first of all. So Intune, quite a rich mobile device management infrastructure. Okay, we're on slide 15 now. And it's non-intrusive. This is what we want. One of the key tenets of any management solutions should be to be as unobtrusive to the end user as possible. We want to empower the end users, not impede them, not block them, not annoy them. Think about your own precious, lovely little devices. You want to access company stuff, but the last thing you want is for IT to install lots of corpware on it. There are two main areas where Windows Intune has been updated to improve this user experience. So first, management tasks are now aligned with the Windows maintenance window. That enables the processes which consume more resources or would interrupt the users, such as reboots. That's carried out when the PC is idle. And then second, when the user's using these modern applications, you know, fully immersive, Intune doesn't pop up anything. It suppresses the notifications. Now the user settings, we respect the user settings. So if the user settings have turned off notifications, we respect that. So it's we shouldn't annoy the users, in other words. And here, information worker self-service experience. We want to reduce the burden on IT for those repetitive tasks, such as finding out what applications the user can do. They go onto that portal, it shows them, hey, this is how you get to run Sage. This is how you get to run your whole desktop through VDI. This is how you can reset your password. You've lost your smartphone. Well, go onto the portal on any other device. There's your smartphone. You can completely lock it. You can wipe it. You can reset the password, etc., etc. So through that portal, the user can do things like finding the applications, manage their own devices, access the support information. They don't typically have to go and set a support call. For Windows, Windows Phone and iOS, there is this rich company portal experience. So that's the one I already mentioned. Windows Phone, and for Android and iOS, you can get these company portals available in the app stores. And here are just a couple of reference slides, basically. Where possible, the end user experience and capabilities have been kept consistent, but there are a few exceptions to this, such as the older devices. They might need to be managed by Exchange Active Sync, for example. But the user should be easily able to navigate the company portal if they change device platforms. So again, a lot more information on that on TechNet. And as part of this management capability, as I mentioned, inventory data is collected from all of these mobile devices and it's available via the Intune console. I already mentioned we don't do software inventory for mobile devices for their own personal software. We don't care which version of Angry Birds they've installed, and we shouldn't care for that. So there is a certain demarcation there. But essentially it enables the administrator to track what hardware is in use, track potential issues, such as when devices approach storage capacity limits. And settings, policies, I already mentioned, they can be applied via direct management and through Exchange Active Sync. It really depends on the management authority of the device. The admin has a single interface though for configuring these policies, regardless of whether they're direct or EAS. And typical settings, again on the next slide. I think I might have put a little link there. No, okay. So again, if you search for TechNet, Intune documentation library, all of these tables are in the Intune documentation library. But this is pretty much a sample of mobile device settings in Intune. So if someone's coming along with an iOS or an Android, we can enforce a maximum or a minimum password strength. We can enforce that it's encrypted device. We can say you can't install software, you can't store the company data if it's jailbroken, so if it has been unlocked, for example. And here again some considerations around software distribution. Now I mentioned that Intune cloud storage, you've got about this 20 gigabytes of storage. Installation files, there are a few considerations. Installation files have to be located together and obviously somewhere that Intune can access. Typically you've got limits on file sizes. No single file can be larger than 2 gig, and if you're installing these over the Intune service, you've got to have a decent internet speed, minimum of about 768k. Now Power BI, on to the next little bit. Power BI. Power BI is another subscription of Office 365, and it's phenomenal. It is one of those things where if you get a good Power BI demo, the customers start to cry. So I'm going to just give you a bit of background on Power BI. Again, SMBs, what do they need to do? Today they're focusing on winning, either retaining their customers and also winning business. So they've got to focus on the customers they have at the moment, because winning business is harder at the moment. It depends what industry they're in, but people aren't spending the money. So there's a real opportunity to understand their existing customers and make them feel more loved. And the technology can do that. So here we've got a few things. There's another little survey. Now, according to, again, here we've got ANI partners. Improving the customer experience and improving the retention listed as number 1 when SMBs were asked what future actions they were planning to take. And at the same time, you can see that BI, analytics, CRM, both listed as top strategic issues for a large percentage of both small and medium businesses. A lot of SMBs have data, but they need help accessing it. It's on a spreadsheet. It's on an Excel spreadsheet or 2 or 3 Excel spreadsheets. They need to help accessing it, putting it together for business advantage. So this is a really sticky, high margin service you can offer. You might be selling Office 365. That's fantastic. If you do the BI, the customers are going to stay with you because they need you at that point, and it's really high margin service. You can also offer complete solutions that span the whole sales cycle. And this is helping customers use what you've already sold them, so Outlook, Link, to enable customer connections. Combine new touchscreen devices. You're selling them touchscreens and you've been saying touchscreen is the future. Now's the chance. Use Project Sienna to knock up a quick touchscreen application in Windows 8 and just deliver solutions for these creative, compelling, interactive presentations. So BI, I'm going to whiz through these and then do a little demo. BI allows you to collaborate, stay connected with Office 365. So it extends the self-service BI that we've seen, and really easy collaboration, really easy sharing of reports and data centers. Now, there was a previous Ingram webinar where I gave a demo of Power Map. Again, that's a fantastic solution. Any sort of geographic information that you've got, chuck it into Excel 2013, insert a Power Map, and plot it, you get a lot of power and correlation from that. So Power BI really has a few capabilities. It gives you a centralized business intelligence site, which is collaborative and it's optimized for business intelligence. It also gives you things like data refresh. So typically some of the data in reports isn't refreshed. So you can set up a data refresh schedule in Power BI, ensuring that the data is kept current. And also data stewardship. Now, data, you've got to trust your data. And once you've created these data, Power Queries, reports, etc., you can define who you want to share this data with and track who's accessing them as well. So this is through features like a data catalog. Now if I go in, I'm going to whiz through these and go for a demo, but I always like to contradict myself. And again, one of the big things, so the lessons from this webinar and moving customers to cloud is don't just sell cloud, sell IP, sell your services, package the cloud. This is Office 365 with some Azure Active Directory bundled in. Sell the bronze, silver, gold package. Sell the gold package with some business intelligence. That's what you're selling. Because once you've got those, you can do it fast, you can repeat it, you know how much to charge, how to support it. Don't sit there talking to customers saying, cloud can be anything, what do you want? You haven't got time to do that. You haven't got the margins to do that. So I always say, some of you might already be selling SharePoint. Some of you might be not selling SharePoint, but just doing SharePoint deployments. Think about it that way. Imagine if you didn't make any money from the cloud. Imagine if Office 365, Azure, Intune, Power BI were free. How would you structure your business to make money out of the services? That's what you've got to think. And here, I've used this slide before. This is a typical partner. This is one example of a partner where they shifted from being a reseller and a hardware SI, etc., into more cloud. They only make 5% from the license. So it's a bit of a bonus for them. But the rest of it is on the managed services, the migration, the user adoption, the training, and the project-based stuff. But they've created IP. They've created white label solutions, and that's where they're making their revenue. So don't build a business thinking, yeah, we got to go all out of that. Someone's always going to undercut you, and you've got to be so fast and so automated. Build the business around those areas, and we're finding that is going to be more successful. As I mentioned, the relationship model changes too. You're not talking to the IT people. You're talking, well, you might be talking to the IT people because they might not have special IT people and special, it might just be talking the business owner. But you're not talking about infrastructure here. You're not talking, this is going to cost you X amount of pounds. You're advising them on their change of business. You're advising them on the business process. You're advising them on helping to get people working from Starbucks and working on the train while they're coming into the office. Now, before I go to the Power BI demo, we do have lots of MCSA courses on here. So we're running those at Microsoft. So it's a chance for your customers to come to the Microsoft campus and take their MCSA. So for example, we've got Office 365 MCSA coming up. We've got Azure courses coming up. And if you use this code, then you get 25% off. Now, I'm going to go into sharing a screen. So bear with me 1 second while I share my Power BI. I'm going to go into a demo. So hopefully you can see my Power BI, and if you've got internal use rights for Office 365, you will already have internal use rights for Power BI. So go to the Microsoft Partner Network, look for your software downloads page, and I'll try and show you, in fact, why not try and do it? Microsoft Partner Network. So I'm already logged in as a partner. And then we go to, once it's resolved, we go to resources and access my software and cloud services. And I've got to sign in again, so we'll sign in as partner account. Try to remember my password. Dumpty. There we go, software, and you can get your software here. Part of that will be Office 365, part of that will be Dynamic CRM, part of that might be cloud. So there you go, Power BI, hit view, that gives you the key that you need to assign, and you'll get, I think it's 25 seats of Power BI for internal use rights. So if you've already got Azure, Office 365, internal use rights, just make sure you activate your Power BI ones, and you'll see them in your portal. And then in Office 365, you'll get Power BI. Once you click on Power BI, you'll go to the Power BI site, and it will be quite dull and boring. So you create a new business intelligence. So if I go into admin, sign in again. So I'm in the Office 365, I'm in the admin center. As you can see, I'm going to go down to SharePoint. And once that starts, I'm going to create a new site collection. I don't know who I'm logged in as, but there we go. There we go. New site collection. I'm going to create a new private site collection. And it's going to be a business intelligence center. Once I've done that, I will essentially get a business intelligence center. So the one that I've done here, for example. So you not be able to see that one. So this is my business intelligence section. Here we go, the BI site. And then once you go into the BI site, there'll be a little pop-up screen that says, hey, this is empty. Do you want to add samples? Add samples, and you'll get great things to play about with, like Olympics data and World Bank indicators and things. Now I've already got one in here, smartphone analysis. So I'm just going to show you how to add another one. So I'm going to add in upload file, an existing pivot table rather. It's just a fairly simple Excel sheet about spend and sales analysis. Something that your customers probably already have, and you already have. So just chuck in an existing spreadsheet, and I'll show you roughly some of the things you can do with it. So it's uploading at the moment. And I'm going to go back and check, see if there are any questions. No one's got any questions. Never know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign. So it's uploading at the moment, and it normally doesn't take that long, but maybe I've got connectivity errors, a bit like R. I'll give it 15 more seconds. Come on, demo. Come on, demo. I'll just edit this bit out of the recording so it'll seem seamless. There we go. Perfect. So now we've got my Northwind marketing spend sales. I've got the blue donut of patience for a few more seconds just while it assimilates it. And once it's in Power BI does an awful lot of sort of machine learning on its own. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's just doing its final little analysis and chopping and changing. And then, as you can see, I've got these three ellipses down here. So I can do things like add to Q&A, schedule the data refresh, edit it in Excel over the web. Now, if I add this to Q&A now, so this Northwind is now added to Q&A. I've done nothing else. Don't forget, this is just an existing spreadsheet. I've brought it into Power BI. I've added it to Q&A. What does that give me? Well, I can go up here and ask with Q&A. And you can do this from different areas, of course. And here, I can just start asking questions now. So, what shall I ask? This was all about our sales and things. So, which month had the biggest or highest? No, biggest. Customer satisfaction for free shipping. And you can see it's suggesting things. So, sometimes we have little grayed out terms. And that is just telling me that we don't actually know really what you're talking about with sort of biggest and stuff. So you can, as you can see over the right hand side, we can tune this. A typical example might be old. I could use the term old. So something like who is the most, or which product is most popular with old customers. Now Power BI doesn't know what old means, so you might then put in a synonym saying old is above 70 or whatever you want, and then it starts to learn those things. So sometimes it has to assume things. So here it's assumed that we want show month in customers where shipping method is free shipping, which is, you know, that's not too bad. And then I could just adjust that. So I might want the customer satisfaction or the customer satisfaction score instead of the key. So now I can see January, February, which month on free shipping customers really like. That could have been around December, around Christmas, free shipping, not good. We could have had a little yodel thing. Other examples, which product has the highest gross margin, and it also corrects my spelling if I spell things wrong. So which product has the highest gross margin? Now there are too many products, so I might have product category. And you can see I can just start asking natural questions through this. Let's expand that. Gross margin by US state, for example. And that's good, it's nice, but I want to show that in a map. So then we'll be able to see, once my map expands, if I can sit down. Now it's getting that from Olympics. I want that from my smartphone, from my Northwind marketing and sales. So there we go. We can zoom in, and if I word it differently, we can sort out which country has the same, or which US state has the highest margin. So let's go in and look at different ones. So something like show customer count by US state with positive feedback. Now this is coming from Smartphone Analysis. Smartphone Analysis is another spreadsheet where we've also incorporated a cloud service, so Twitter feeds, our Twitter results. So we can just say show the customer count by US state that has positive sentiment from Twitters. And again, here we've got California, Washington, etc., etc. What else have we got? Something like show positive by product name. Positive sentiment. So that's going to show average sentiment by product name, as you can see. Or even we can look at show number of tweets by the Twitter handle. So we want to know who's an active twit, essentially. So these people, quite twitty. And it's helping me as we go along. So rather than that, show number of tweets by, again, US state, for example. That would be easier. I can also show that in a map. So I can zoom in and I can see, oh, this is shown by country. So rather than doing that, number of tweets by country, for example, where sentiment is positive. And again, we can zoom in. So that's got 645,000 nice tweets. UK, not bad. And then it will suggest things like negative, a little bit less negative, or neutral. Once you've done these, so Power BI tries to help you. You can also, as I said, improve it by sending these synonyms, selecting featured questions. But you just saw, I just chucked in a typical spreadsheet in there, and that's all I need to do. So I could ask quite simple, easy questions, gross margin by country for audio versus computers. And which shipping method most customers choose. There we go. So hopefully you get an idea of Power BI. This is the default interface. You can change this, so you can have a nice little portal just with that natural language method that starts to learn. And this is something that you can be delivering to your customers from day one, if you like. And these are the high margin services. These are what will keep the customers coming back. These are what differentiate you from other customers, other partners, and this is what's going to make you the money. Right, pop back to my slides. And just checking for questions. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to use the instant messaging panel. So that's pretty much what I was going to cover today. The summary really is, don't just sell cloud. You should now be looking, you might be selling Office 365, look to the other vehicles, broaden it with Azure, broaden it with Intune, broaden it with Power BI. Also, look to other licensing vehicles such as SPLA. If you're selling cloud, you should be selling SPLA. And again, Ingram can help you with SPLA. They've got a great team around that. And don't just sell cloud as commodity, white label, sell packages, sell your IP. And that's how customers will stay with you, and that's how you'll make the new revenue in this new world of cloud. So I'll be around for a few minutes just to take any further questions. You can download those slides from the attachment section. The webinar is being recorded, so you can always get that from the Ingram portal as well. Other than that, thank you very much for taking the time to attend this webinar. Hope it's been useful, and we'll see you on a future one. Thank you very much.